Well, good evening, everyone. I have the pleasure of welcoming all of you. I think we'll have some others drift in, but without further delay, I'd love to get us started tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. On behalf of Niagara University, the College of Business Administration, and TREC, our co-working business incubator in Niagara Falls, New York, we are delighted to have you with us. And also, thank you to Niagara University and to TREC for co-hosting. Pat and Roscoe are our partners at TREC. Pat and Roscoe, I guess you can raise your hand. I am joining you on behalf of the College of Business, where I'm the Assistant Director of Graduate Operations. In our program, we have approximately 200 MBA students. We offer 8 unique concentrations across the business curriculum, including a fully online MBA. We also offer a Master's of Science in Finance. Our programs are very accessible to working professionals. We offer flexible scheduling, Saturday evening and online formats, typically about 15 to 18 months to complete. And you can start at any time. We're still accepting applications for the spring semester, which begins January 28. And if you're interested in joining us as a student or learning more, please, would love to connect. I'll put my contact information in the chat. But part of our business student journey is really providing opportunities to connect, to engage with the business community, with partners and professionals in the real world to complement classroom learning through projects, internships, and then jobs, of course, at the end of that journey. And this is part of that opportunity for our students and for our business community. This Guide Talk series is all about engaging honest conversations with real people and talking a little bit more about navigating these career relationships, decisions, and leveraging some of the intangibles related to successful careers. So thank you for joining us. Most importantly, and what you came for tonight, a huge thank you to our panelists for their time and their willingness to share their stories, their expertise, and their lessons learned on relationships as the bedrock of successful careers, no matter what your industry. So we have with us this evening Dr. Galina Boyintsova. She is our Assistant Professor of Management at Niagara University in Ontario at our Vaughan campus. And I know some students here are here from Vaughan, so thank you for joining us. Galina will talk about the theory behind the impacts that relationship have on success. Secondly, we have Mila, and I will not attempt to pronounce Mila's last name. She is an expert on LinkedIn, and she has had a lot of success building relationships on that platform. So she is from Alberta, from Edmonton, actually. She's joining us, where she is the program lead and facilitator for the Mennonite Center for Newcomers. And then finally, we have Jenny Kalembe, who is going to talk to us a little bit more about the courage that it takes to really throw yourself in, to engage and begin the journey of building relationships to support your career. And Jenny is a communications specialist with the Office of Toronto City Councillor. So thank you to all of our panelists. Just a few final housekeeping items before we jump over to our first panelist. There will be a virtual Q&A. So within the presentation, if you have questions, we don't want to lose those questions. Please type them into the chat. We have a virtual moderation provided by Brian, and Brian is going to collect those questions and pitch them to the panel at the conclusion of their talk. So thank you again for joining us, and I look forward to hearing from Galina. Now over to you. Thank you.
Very much, Whitney. I apologize. I'll have to turn off my camera and turn on my screen because otherwise both of them crash when they turned on at the same time. Give me 1 second, please. Please let me know if you can see my screen. Yes?
Yes, thumbs up.
Thank you very much. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm very excited to be here. If you came in late, my name is Galina Boyintsova, and I'm an assistant professor of management in the College of Business Administration at NU. Together with my incredible co-hosts, I'm so lucky to have them with me today. We are going to be talking to you today about the importance of relationship in your career journey. And what we're really here today, we want to share some tips that we found very helpful on our career journeys. So when I was asked to speak at Trek, I got so excited. I don't get to talk a lot about career nowadays, but career has been a long passion of mine. So before joining NU, I was actually teaching career for 7 years to undergraduate students. So while I learned about the subject and taught the subject, I really became fascinated with how our careers unfold, and most importantly, who are the stakeholders in our career journeys. So while there is no obvious consensus in the literature, we're gathering more and more evidence that careers are not an individual product. After all, we don't live in a vacuum, right? So if we reflect on our lives, everything we do on a daily basis is really either for someone, because of someone, or in spite of someone. Same can be said about our careers, as they are embedded in the larger context of our lives. Simply stated, in addition to our own efforts and our own incredible talents, our careers are really influenced by others around us in both positive and negative ways. And it doesn't really stop there. Careers are the product of a reciprocal relationship, where we're also stakeholders in someone else's journey. And our action or our inaction may have significant consequences on other successes or failures. So what I'm saying should sound convincing to you. However, the idea that our careers are somewhat outside of our control is really hard to swallow, especially on this side of the globe. In North America, we're trained to believe and advocate for the fact that our careers are in reality our individual projects that we ourselves carry out for the majority of our adult lives. And these beliefs and attitudes are really rooted in the myth of individualism. It's our cultural belief that everyone succeeds on their individual merit. So social psychology coins this tendency as attribution. In other words, where we are wired to assign internal attribution to our successes. I'm the driver behind my career growth. I spent countless hours earning this promotion. I got the job of my dreams, and I'm not willing to give credit for my successes to anyone else. So psychologists call this attribution a denial response. And our denial response really comes from the need to maintain a positive self-image, right? So denial of the role of relationships with others in our career preserves the self-enhancing illusion that we are in fact masters of our fate. Having said that, human tendency to engage in this attribution of our successes internally is so strong that it acts as the major roadblock in building our own social capital, which is proclaimed to be an essential job requirement for just about any career in the 21st century. What do I mean when I say social capital, and why is it becoming so prominent today? When we talk about careers from the perspective of relationship, what we're really talking about is whom do we know and who can help us on our career endeavors. Many of you would think, well, capital has to be tangible. You can't call it capital. Not in this case. While we cannot physically touch the relationship, they're nevertheless considered to be capital that has to be managed strategically. So few people will tell you that, probably because few people are consciously aware that social capital has become essential for our success, both on personal and the organizational level. So following the internal attribution, we believe that it is our human capital that makes a difference. It's our skills, right? It's our knowledge. But you must always remember that there are other people with that same qualifications, other people with the same degree, same knowledge, or same skills. So what really separates you from everyone else if you're going to get a job or get a promotion that you're looking for is your social relationship or social capital. It's the people you know and the people who are willing to lend you a helping hand. But how do we go about building that social capital? I think that's the most important question, especially in the beginning of your career. Most of you will probably suggest networking, and you will be absolutely correct. There's an old saying, it's not what you know, but it's who you know. However, please don't take my presentation as a call for aggressive networking. On opposite, I really urge you today to slow down and think what networking really means for you. We live in a day and age where we have access to so many different social platforms and we can build connections easily. Some of us have thousands of connections on LinkedIn, but do we really know these people? Can you really pick up the phone and call your connection and say, I need your help? You don't. If you know 10% of those people, you're lucky. So I urge you to think about not engaging in aggressive networking, but really think what purposeful networking is. So just to give you a little bit of understanding the difference between the two. When we talk about aggressive networking, it's really one and done. It's when you shake someone's hand at the event, you give them your business card, or you exchange LinkedIn information. Then you happily add each other to your database of what I call largely empty contacts and call it a day. We all have done that. We continue doing that on a daily basis. The question then becomes, where does it really leave you? With a stack of business cards on your desk and 600 plus connections on LinkedIn, who you cannot reach out to. When you do networking this way, it's really useless. A relationship networking or purposeful networking is aimed at creating an everlasting partnership, which starts with the first impression. So at a networking event, you may meet dozens of people, but if you can make yourself memorable by finding a way to connect on the personal level, you just began flourishing a long-lasting connection. Much like personal relationship, purposeful networking is a long-term endeavor, where the exchange of the business card or the exchange of the LinkedIn contact is just the first step. So on paper, it sounds very straightforward. Invest in relationship building and you will be on your merry way to professional success. But let's be honest. Many of us look at networking the way we look at going to a dentist. We know we have to go. We even know why we have to go, but none of us really want to do that. So we put it off as long as possible until one day we either lose the job, we get laid off, we don't get the promotion we were hoping for, and we have no other choice but to start reaching out. To be honest, the popular media doesn't make it easier. The way networking is usually presented makes it seem incredibly unappealing. It really defies our natural tendencies. It seems insincere, and especially for introverts, it's like almost becoming totally, completely different person. It is simply brutal, if you ask me, and I'm an extrovert. So if there is one lesson that I want you to take away from my short talk today before Mila and Jenny take over, is networking isn't really about forcing yourself out the door to attend the networking events. It's not about frantically giving out or collecting the contact information. It's not even about giving as many elevator pitches as possible. It's about developing genuine relationship with people who you find interesting. And let me emphasize, people you find interesting and who might potentially down the road make a difference in your career. So how do you do that? When I was preparing for this talk, and Whitney mentioned at the beginning that I'm going to be sharing theory, I thought about sharing some research findings with you, but then I realized that I'd rather tell you about the strategies that I use myself that I found to be incredibly, immensely supportive in my career journey. And the first one has to do with the initial difficulty of approaching people. That awkward moment when you see someone you would like to meet, and you either have to get their attention or interject in the group they're in. And my first advice to you before you approach, make sure there's something interesting about you that you can share. So be the type of person others want to meet. The asking questions strategy, which we usually employ during networking, can really backfire if overused. And you might come across as interrogator. So instead, open with telling a really good story about yourself. You need the person to walk away with the memory of you. So you need to interject with more than just an to achieve that. So when it's your turn to share something about yourself, don't simply state the lines on your resume. This is very boring and very ineffective. Tell a brief story about a funny or curious thing that happened to you. Why? Because time and time again, research shows that our brains light up the moment we hear a personal story. Among dozens of other people they will meet that day, I guarantee you will stand out in that person's mind. The second strategy flows from my first is that I really try to rely on being more interested in other people than I am in myself. I want you to recall that last time when you could not remember someone's name right after meeting them. And do you know why this happens? Because while they're telling you their name, you're already thinking of how you will introduce yourself, completely blocking out the information you're receiving at the same time. And this is a very wrong approach. Almost everyone is much more interested in themselves than they are in you. And almost everyone, given the chance, will talk about themselves rather than really listen to you. So set yourself apart by becoming genuinely interested in other people. Although networking is technically about self-promotion, skip the temptation to launch right into your elevator pitch. If you let other people open up and talk about themselves, you become memorable. You become a safe person. You become potentially a friend. There is something I found in my short but very fruitful career, that there is something truly interesting about everyone. Ask the questions, answers to which you would really pique your interest, and listen carefully. And here's the practical tip. Make mental notes, and once out of their sight, make an actual note in your phone or in your notepad, which you can use when you're going to reach out to them. You mentioning little details they shared will make them feel truly special. That being said, another tip. What do you do when you can't find that something interesting about the person you're talking to? Move on. The beauty of purposeful networking is it's not about the quantity, but it's about the quality. You really don't have to click with everyone, and you won't. Stick to people you're interested in and you're interested in having conversations with. My third strategy is give back with generosity. And when it comes to building relationship, I truly believe that at the end of the day, you get what you give. I believe that it's a value exchange to people you're connecting with that enable deeper connection. So asking, how can I help you? Or is there anything I can assist you with is by far one of the most effective ways to build long-lasting connections. So once you help someone or even offer to help someone, you become more likable because you're offering to relieve some of their stress and to add value to their life. Just like showing your appreciation, pretty much. Offering to help is a strategy that will earn you a positive reputation because you're thinking of others and not about yourself. Finally, and this one is join clubs and associations. And unfortunately, I didn't discover it early enough, but when I did, it was a happy day of my life. Forcing yourself to get acquainted with people who you know nothing about is extremely difficult. And one way I find to overcome this difficulty is by joining the clubs and associations where you will have something in common with others off the bat. So don't just join clubs. Don't just sign up for a golf club tomorrow because you want to network. People will sense it. Join the clubs which do things that you're really interested in. Not only you're gonna click with people because you have common interests, but you will potentially build long-lasting relationships. And the probability of those relationships growing into career success is much higher than meeting somebody at the random networking event. In addition, you will probably have fun being at those clubs. And so building your network won't feel like going to a dentist. It won't be an obligation. So unfortunately, I don't have a lot more time. As I mentioned in the beginning of my talk, our careers are largely influenced by people around us. It takes work, it takes creativity, and you're going to hear that from Mila and Jenny, how creative they get about building their networks. It takes innovation, and most importantly, it takes persistence. It also takes wisdom and diplomacy to surround yourself with the strong social capital you can draw upon. Don't ever underestimate the power of helping, the power of helping hand and the importance of relationship. Don't ever underestimate the power of your social capital. And I want to leave you with this quote that I think sums up my talk quite nicely. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with others. And now I would like to ask Mila to take over and share her experiences on how to build the social capital on LinkedIn.
Thank you so much, Galina. And I will try to share my screen. Can you see it? Good. Okay.
Yes, all set.
Okay. So first, a disclaimer for my talk. The invitation to present to you on this very topic came from Galina, who read my post on LinkedIn back in May. So I didn't apply for this role. I wasn't looking for this opportunity. And if you think that it was a miracle, I will tell you exactly how it happened and why networking on LinkedIn worth your time. So first, probably you wonder who I am to talk about LinkedIn. And to answer this question, I have to tell you about my story, how I started on LinkedIn. So I came to Canada in 2012 as an international student, and I was completing a human resources management program in one of the colleges in Toronto. I'm originally from Russia. English is not my first language. And in 2014, I had almost empty profile on LinkedIn. But in college, I had a course on job search preparation, and my co-op officer asked us as an assignment to find two professionals from HR field and do informational interviews with them. So there is no way out. I had to do the assignment and I had to bring their business cards. So I was freaking out, but it was the moment of epiphany for me because I was forced to use LinkedIn to find professionals. And I do remember that networking events in person, they would give me a headache. So it was very unnatural to me approaching people in person. I felt very weird. And you might think that I'm an extrovert, even though I'm a facilitator. I do facilitate employability programs, but still it was really not very pleasant experience to network in person. So in 2020, so why I'm sharing with you this experience. So I'm one of this person who have 500 plus connections on LinkedIn. I have close to 5 years in career development field. I helped over 400 people to figure out their new careers. In Canada, I'm actively using LinkedIn on a daily basis, and I experiment with my clients because I encourage them to use LinkedIn to build their professional networks. So I mentioned informational interview. So what is it? First, what you need to know that informational interview is not a job interview. So you don't need the resume for this. You ask questions. And it's a very powerful tool, very powerful technique if you need to figure out a new job, career, or some educational avenues. It helps you to research the company. For instance, you don't know what the culture might look like in the company, and you might research someone who already works in the company and ask them questions, because this is a beautiful way to talk to someone who already is doing the job and get this insider's information. And remember, when you do informational interview, it's all about information gathering. So it goes back to Galina's point that when you're doing this, you're more interested in person's perspective or person's experience. So you're just a listener and you're collecting information so you can make this informed decision whether or not to apply for this job or if this educational avenue is right for you. So you're a researcher, you're a journalist, you're a curious mind when you're doing this. So what you need to do before reaching out to people, because when you're LinkedIn, you have to have a profile, and I will just go on a kind of high level recommendations, what you have to have before reaching out to people so they know who you are. First, it will be your picture. It should be professional, but you don't have to book a professional photo shoot. So it's enough that it will have good lighting, it will be your face, there should be no friends, no pets, just you. And recently, it still surprises me how people have very funny pictures. Recently, I just saw a man topless on his LinkedIn profile picture, and believe me, he was not advertising his fitness coaching services. So do not do that. So it should be professional. Then second important thing is your headline. It should be clear and searchable. Ideally, it should be a job title or a couple of job titles, and it should answer the question who you are and what do you want to do. So do not waste this priceless space with the phrase searching for new opportunities. It should be searchable by other people. Okay. Then about section. And here you can be really creative and showcase your communication skills. Make sure that this is not a boring list of your skills. My suggestion is to pick 3 of your most awesome skills and explain how you got them, how you acquired them. Tell a story behind it. Also, in your about section, this is the place where you can tell your profile visitor your purpose of being on LinkedIn, so they know what to do with your profile. For instance, if you check out my about section, it will say, I'm on LinkedIn to connect with like-minded professionals in a career development field and people in learning and development industry. So so it's called call of action. So you can say that you're expanding your professional network, you're looking for opportunities. So you let your profile visitor know why you're there. Again, it's all about purpose. Then you can add up to 50 skills in your profile section, and you can ask your classmates for endorsements. You can use synonyms when you add in your skills. And so now LinkedIn actually takes endorsements really seriously, because they will ask how people know, how the person knows if you have this skill. Like I remember back in the days, 6 years ago, you can endorse whoever you want, hoping that they would endorse you back. So now LinkedIn taking it really seriously. Okay. So once you have your profile ready, so people can search you and find out who you are. How I reached out to people. So this is the question, because I'm all for intention and purpose. And first you have to decide who you will reach out for. It might be people who work in your dream company, or you want to research a certain job and figure out what this job actually entails. So my suggestion is to make your experience on LinkedIn easier, connect with someone who's already active on LinkedIn. So when you see the list of people, when you do your search, see their activity and connect with someone who is already active on LinkedIn. Then personalized message is a must. And if you remember just one thing from my talk, it should be personalized message. Never ever send just an empty connection request. Always find something that something interesting about this person that you're about to connect and personalize the message. So here I'm sharing 2 examples. This is from my connection request. I sent them and it worked out. We're still in touch with these people. So for instance, when I was researching a program at George Brown College, I was looking for someone who completed this program. So I just said the following: I came across your profile when looking for graduates of this program. I'm wondering if you would be open to answering some questions about the program. Thanks. So the person accepted the request because the person knew why I was connecting with him or her. So I was really purposeful and to the point. Then another example I shared here, it was my connection request for someone who also worked in a career development field. I still do it all the time, even though I'm employed. It's just a very interesting way to figure out new information about different jobs and careers. So I said the following: I saw your name on the list of advisory committee from CEREC. It's a career development organization. You were the only one from Edmonton. I'm an employment counselor for Edmonton too. So I'm explaining who I am. And I say, I would be happy to connect with you and learn from your impressive experience in the career development field. So I said why I'm connecting with them, what I find interesting about them, and who I am. So it builds this purpose for this connection. When you're sending out this request, so of course, finding someone who's already active on LinkedIn, it will increase your chances of successful connection. But also remember that this is a numbers game, unfortunately. So the response ratio is 10-1, but it's really worth it. So when you find someone who will be willing to spend maybe 30 minutes on even an hour talking to you about their job, you will see that this is really worth it. And another way to show up on LinkedIn is to be active and actually create some content. So I was told about a year ago when I attended one of the LinkedIn workshops that everyone should post a video content because video content is the key. So I'm not really comfortable still posting video content, but I'm doing what I can. So I encourage you to show up on LinkedIn in the most comfortable and authentic way. So if you're not ready to video content, it's okay. If you're not ready to produce posts every day, it's okay. But what you can do to increase your visibility the most, it's commenting. And I'm talking about commenting with meaningful information. So I'm not talking about comments like great point, awesome post. So also likes and shares do not help to increase your visibility, unfortunately. And honestly, it doesn't take a lot of time. So if you think that you have to invest hours of your time to be on LinkedIn, no, it actually requires you to be on LinkedIn for 15-20 minutes a day, purposely and meaningfully commenting on someone's posts, and you will see that people will start checking out your profile. People will start replying to your comments. So you will see all this engagement happening. So you don't have to post like a solid post to be visible on LinkedIn. So try it out. I promise if you do it for 1 week, you will increase your visibility. Then one last thing that I would like to mention, that consistency is the key. So remember that if you use LinkedIn as your main tool for networking, remember that it shouldn't be perfect, it shouldn't be big, it should be intentional and consistent. And it's not about your talent that you're born with, or it's not about doing it once, rocking it, and forgetting about it. It's an everyday work, no miracles here, but if you're intentional and consistent, the results will come. Thank you. And I will pass it over to Jenny.
So hi, my friends. Let me share my screen. Thank you for awesome presentation by previous presenters. Thank you, ladies. I learned a lot personally. So, and I hope that my tips will be interesting for other people. And I'm more face-to-face person, so I will be talking about how to throw yourself in the water, kind of, and make sure that you're not gonna drown. But at least I know what works for me. Well, before I go over to my tips and my tricks within networking, I would like to give you a couple words about myself. So I'm typical American dream. I'll tell you why, because I came to Canada at the age of 20. I was hungry for job. I was thinking that a lot of people here already accomplished and successful, and I have to catch up. I literally, like, I'm jumping in the last boat. And so for me, the merit of my success was to have my own property. And I remember buying my first house at the age of 21 after 10 long months being a full-time cleaner and part-time cashier. And I remember it was $38,000 for my first down payment. And I became a landlord as well. So I kind of put together homestay for international students. And we had amazing time together. We had potlucks, we had seasonal barbecues, we had game nights for board games. And I'll tell you that much, at the end of the day, I was running out of product. So I kind of convinced the rest of my family and the family of my husband that we have to join an adventure. And by the age of 27, I became a co-owner of 7 more properties and the landlord to 42 people. And plus on top of that, I was already a full-time manager in a marketing company. So life was very interesting and busy, but it was great. So, but in Ukraine, I left Ukraine without graduating from a university and completing 3.5 years. So another priority for me was education and to get somewhere with the local degree. So basically, I took a break from my work when I got pregnant, and I joined York University when my older daughter, if you can see her in this picture, she was only 3 weeks old. And that's when I started my studying in York University, and I got degree in humanities and psychology. So my passion for people and their well-being was always present in my life. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to go in psychology field. But it would take me 9 long years to become fully licensed psychologist. So I thought, no, I can't. I just can't wait. I want to do something right away, some changes. So that's one of the reasons why I joined the public administration program. And right now I'm a soon to be graduate, student. I'm very excited, student of Humber College. And now I have 2 kids, and I waited this time around for 1 year for my son to become 1 year old. So, and I know that as a public servant, I can bring more positive change to people's life. So, well, now I will stop talking about me. I will start talking about you. And I will bring myself in the picture only to share my own experiences. So one of the most and foremost things, you have to figure out what is your passion. Because if you will not know, oh my God, what I want to do, what my parents want me to do, what my friends expect me to do, everybody's expectations, you have only one life. You have to figure out what you want with your life. Not anybody else. And you know, the most important thing, that it does not mean that we should only do what we want to. It means that we need to do what we have to in order to fulfill our dreams. So now, once we finally met you, finally find out what do you want to do in our life, you know? So next point is to develop in the field we want to succeed. So kind of like join to the people who can take us from point A to point B. And don't be shy, because we have only 6 hands around the whole world to connect with everybody nearly. So, and most important thing, we need to figure out list of people who already successful in the field and who we really would like to connect for advice, for mentorship. So now we need to set a ground. How do we do it? We have to do research. As Mila told previously and Lena told previously, research is one of the very important steps. We have to make ourselves interesting by searching what questions, what we would like to know about other people. So such way, we have to do our homework, read the bio, see the points you can connect on, see the articles, blogs, LinkedIn. That's all tools we can gather some information. And then we have to do first step. So send an email. I'll tell you that much. One of the things from my story, I have been for my assignment in school in a provincial parliament, and I witnessed the Associate Minister of Women's Issues, Jill Dunlop, addressing for the first time the provincial parliament. And it was very nice and humbly, and she gave a beautiful speech about women and workforce. And what I did first thing, I came home and I actually said, I loved it. Thank you so much for putting together that lovely policies. And you did a great job by addressing the provincial parliament for the first time. And that's how you will lay out your email. You have to put them first, the organization, course of action, whatever they did great. Then you can also add some articles related to their topic, something that's done differently in different countries, because we're all about cultural diversity. And at the end of the day, we have to also say something about ourselves. Why do we reach out? What kind of cultural and working background do we have? What experience we can offer? So all together, it gives you good solid ground for the first step. So once we're done, I know that at some point people can be really stagnant. They're like, oh, I did all this research and I'm just stagnant. I'm scared. I don't think that I'm good enough to reach out to these people. So this is my little trick. I'm going to share with you, and the reason why it works, because we all have mirror neurons, and that's how it will affect us. So for the next 5 minutes, I would like you to focus on this video I'm offering, and please enjoy.
You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Because believing that the dots will connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart, even when it leads you off the well-worn path. And that will make all the difference. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. You've got to find what you love, and that is as true for work as it is for your lovers. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle. Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become.
But you're going to have some ups and you're going to have some downs. Most people give up on themselves easily. You know the human spirit is powerful. There's nothing as powerful. It's hard to kill the human spirit. Anybody can feel good when when they have their health, their bills to pay, they have happy relationships. Anybody can be positive then. Anybody can have a larger vision then. Anybody can have faith under those kinds of circumstances. The real challenge of growth, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, comes when you get knocked down. It takes courage to act. Part of being hungry when you've been defeated, it takes courage to start over again. Fear kills dreams. Fear kills hope. Fear put people in the hospital. Fear can age you, can hold you back from doing something that you know within yourself that you're capable of doing, but it will paralyze you.
At the end of your feelings is nothing, but at the end of every principle is a promise. Behind your little feelings, it might not be absolutely nothing at the end of your little feelings, but behind every principle is a promise. And some of you in your life, the reason why you're not at your goal right now, because you're just all about your feelings. You're all on your feelings. You don't feel like waking up. So who does? Every day you say no to your dreams, you might be pushing your dreams back a whole 6 months, a whole year. That one single day, that one day you didn't get up to push your stuff back, I don't know how long. Don't allow your emotions to control you. We are emotional, but you want to begin to discipline your emotions. If you don't discipline and contain your emotions, they will use you. You want it, and you're going to go all out to have it. It's not going to be easy. When you want to change, it's not easy. If it were in fact easy, everybody would do it. But if you're serious, you'll go all out. I'm in control here. I'm not going to let this get me down. I'm not going to let this destroy me. I'm coming back. And I'll be stronger and better because of it. You have got to make a declaration that this is what you stand for. You're standing up for your dreams. You're standing up for peace of mind. You're standing up for health. Take full responsibility for your life. Accept where you are and the responsibility that you're going to take yourself where you want to go. You can decide that I'm going to live each day as if it were my last. Live your life with passion, with some drive. Decide that you're going to push yourself. The last chapter to your life has not been written yet. And it doesn't matter about what happened yesterday. It doesn't matter about what happens to you. What matters is, what are you going to do about it? This year I will make this goal become a reality. I won't talk about it anymore. I can.
Persevere, I think, is important for everybody. Don't give up. Don't give in. There's always an answer to everything.
You can't
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, so this is my little trick, and I do not know if you received the boost of energy. I obviously do receive it, and it's just a susceptibility of our mirror neurons, as I already mentioned. But anyway, so now we already in control over here. We can move on. We have that energy boost. And what's next? You send your email. You have to wait. You have to, I would say the appropriate way of waiting 5 to 10 business days. So next is follow up. In 5 to 10 business days, follow up and wait again. And as Mila said, it's a ratio of people who will answer and some people will not answer. But you know what, if nobody will answer you, don't attribute it to yourself. We do not know what's on another side of the screen, what other person facing this time. But following up will actually help another person to re-register in their mind that, oh my God, I thought I answered that email, but I haven't. So give that person another chance to connect with you, because you are interesting, you can offer something. But if you get that yes, now we're going, you have a great opportunity to connect. And next, what we're doing next, we have to follow up with thank you handwritten card. I cannot emphasize it more, because emails, lots of people receive emails. People do love old style cards, and that will make you very personal. It touches you. You pick up a piece of pen and card and put it your heart and thought already about this person. So that's very important. Actually, about cards, don't shy away, because I'll tell you that much. This is how I reach out and remind about myself to the people. And we have only probably 4 or 5 occasions then we actually can do that, you know? So first of all, you can remind about yourself. Second, as I at some point mentioned, that people participate right now in the holiday exchange cards. So you will be surprised how many people do that. And include your business card. So this is my business card, you know? So somebody will say, well, I do not have one, or I do not have a business. I totally understand you. So I'm a postgraduate student, and that's what I put it there. So I also put some sort of work pitch at the back of my card. So dream big, work hard, stay focused, surround yourself with good people. That's something that I want to do, something what I'm looking for. And at the end of the day, don't be shy to put your card on it. I'll tell you that much. Somebody may say, oh, it's not professional to put your picture on the card. Not true. People who are in real estate and mortgage brokers, they all use their pictures. If it would be not professional, they won't do it. So until my name speaks for me, I want people to meet me and to align me with that card I sent. And people actually naturally remember better faces than names. It's just a mere fact. And okay, so this is one of the examples of the cards I did this summer. And it's from Jenny and Val. My sister went along with me to the public administration program. And now we together doing our cards, our networking. She's my partner in crime, what you say, when it comes to that. So I'll tell you that much. That works for me. And I hope that it's something that you can take little peek on. So now, next up is action. I'll tell you that much. You have to be not active, but proactive. At the end of the day, you have to participate in an event, look at the conferences, offer to volunteer. Volunteering is a huge thing because it gives you a chance to show how reliable you are, how helpful you can be. Prove yourself. Prove yourself without being paid. Just be there. Show that you're genuinely interested. In such way, you can enlarge your circle. You can be present there. You can be reliable so that other person can vouch for you. And if you're looking for an employment opportunity, we'll give you back this employment opportunity or vouch for you for another person and give you great references. So as I told you previously, my passion is the public sector politics. I'm currently a member of federal and provincial Progressive Conservative Party. And from top to bottom over here, this is my picture with Doug Ford and Stephen Lecce. He is the Minister of Education. Doug Downey, he is Attorney General of Ontario. Unfortunately, it cuts off on my screen. I do not know if you can see Ms. Jill Dunlop, the women of Issues Ministry. And she's the one who's actually, after my initial email, was very happy to meet up with me. And that actually even helped me, one of my colleagues, to get the internship with the Ministry of Women's Issues. And it was all from that initial email, which I was very happy. And this is my sister, and we participating in Women in Politics. So, but beside that, I want to say that we have three major parties, which is Liberal and NDP beside PC, and Anna Bailau, who is my current boss right now, and she is a deputy mayor for City of Toronto, and Mauricio Bevilacqua, who is mayor of City of Vaughan. Both of them are affiliated with Liberal Party. And in this picture, I'm with Merit Stiles, who is MPP, who is member of provincial parliament for my area. She is with NDP. And it doesn't stop me for reaching out because I'm from different party. Because at the end of the day, I believe in collaboration. And humans, they actually coming first, then politics. And our new reality, guys. So as you can see over here, again, I'm with my sister, and this is the event hosted by Chamber of Commerce. And right now, that's what we have to do. We have to look for the events like today, like another different online conferences. And this is our reality: Zoom calls, Google Hangouts, Skype, Facebook. It's all about connection. I know it's not, I prefer face-to-face, but this works too. And building on Mila's presentation, I will tell you that much. I'm right now trying to have two, I kind of saying, calling it informational interviews. I'm calling it virtual coffees. I'm trying to schedule 2 virtual coffees every week with the people who are already connected to nurture our relationship, and actually new people as well. And you will be surprised how many people saying yes to those virtual coffees. And I can really learn more and do something more together. It's really interesting. So don't shy away from that. So here again, I want to say, to emphasize this case, because I'm with Mauricio Bevilacqua, who is mayor of City of Vaughan. And I met initially with him at York University, where he was giving out the speech. And then I had courage to reach out to him, again, thanking for an inspirational speech. And building on that, we were doing for school the several projects about the City of Vaughan, about strategic planning and leadership. So we end up having 3 more meetings, face-to-face, one-on-one with my group, and online leadership interview. And it all started at York University conference with my email, and led to more projects. So I really want to emphasize everything about you. I believe in your inner light. You have to find your passion and just move with this. And I really would like to thank you for the time and letting me to share my story. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jenny. Really appreciate your passion. Everybody has given a lot of great information here, a lot of great tips. I guess I'd love to turn it over now to anybody in the virtual audience that would like to ask a question. I think, Brian, we have the ability to unmute. Is that correct?
They can either type it in chat. If they wanted to unmute, they could raise their hand and I'll just unmute you manually if you feel like your question is too long to type or you want to speak it yourself.
Super. Yeah, our time is running a little short, but I'm sure the presenters would love to take any questions from the audience. Don't be bashful. Okay, I have a question. Practical ways to discipline your emotions. Jenny, you talked about disciplining your emotions. I think that was also in the video. Sometimes emotions, whether it be fear, whether it be intimidation, whether it be just a lack of confidence that can kind of carry you away. How do you overcome those feelings when you're about to present yourself, about to try to make a connection?
Well, I'm gonna share with you a little silly maybe trick, but it works all the time. Take 2 of your fingers, middle and big finger, and try to prick your finger with one of the nails. So do like this. Your attention naturally, physiologically, will shift to this pain. It's not big enough to heal you, but it is physiological response. You put it in your hand, and then you deep breath and say what you want to say. And believe me, your brain, without occupying yourself, oh my God, and that fear, will react to this little pain response. And in the meantime, will release the necessary resources for you to say what you want to say. You know, I didn't need to do it today. So, because I treat all of you guys as my friends in my living room. So yes, but in the public, when you're really, really, really scared, it's just, and don't forget to breathe.
Thank you so much. That's wonderful. I think smiling too also releases, it's physiologically releasing anxiety. So having a smile in front of a crowd or having a smile in front of an individual that you hope to bring into your corner is certainly a way to be compelling and to create that lasting memory.
Sure.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll mute you real quick. Let me find you in the, see if I can do it this way. 1 minute. Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna mute you now. I'll give you the ability to mute.
Yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, I'm my name is Deep and I'm an upcoming graduate student this May. And in this COVID time, I think it's a bit harder for graduate students to find the job after graduation. So my question is, what is some of the effective ways that you suggest that we can approach the employer? Let's say we already know which employer we want to work for, and we find that person on LinkedIn that we think that they may have some kind of decision and they have a strong voice in the company. Then what are some of the suggested effective way that we can reach out to them, expecting for an answer or for a guidance or for a recommendation?
I guess it was the question for me. Okay, because I noticed that all activity basically shifted to LinkedIn since March, and a lot is going on. So first thing, if you really know what's your dream employer, what's your dream company, you have to connect with people who are already doing the job that you want to do. Because if you go and connect with their recruiters or with the hiring managers, there can be potential conflict of interest. So your best bet is to connect through your potential team members and figure out what's going on in the team, what's going on in the department, and what are some projects that they're working on, so you can include it in your job application, because you will have this insider's information. And if you're lucky enough, this person might even refer you to their supervisor. It does happen. But don't go to authority first, because you have to first kind of test the waters and see like what's going on. Is it really that good? You know, and especially now you can ask about some, I don't know, what's been going on in terms of layoffs, like some concrete and up-to-date information, what's going on in this company and how COVID affected it. So this is an opening question. Oh, how have you been? Like how COVID affected your work? So this is what I would suggest. This is one of the strategies.
If I may just add to this, and this is building on my presentation earlier, offering them help, or so while Mila suggests not to reach out to the authority, if Mila's strategy doesn't work, I do strongly suggest reaching out to the hiring managers and offering them your volunteering services, or asking them, do you have anything coming up? I'm very interested. I really want to be part of your organization. I know you might not have a position for me right now, but maybe I can help you out. Maybe you can put me on the project, and I'm so excited. Let's talk. And that usually worked. I was in the capacity of a HR manager for 12 years, and I had people reach out, and I hired people after giving them the opportunity. We do want to get to know you, and this is our best way. And let's say, again, I'm going to sound negative, but it's our cheapest way to find out who you are and if we really want you. So just practically.
I would like also to add to this. I have been involved, and I actually started networking last October. So, you know, like from there to straight to COVID, I'll tell you that much. Offer volunteering. Right now, as soon as my internship will be over, I already have a couple opportunities laid out just because I've been involved with their offices on volunteering positions. So it does show you can prove yourself through volunteering. So that would be my best advice.
Thank you, Jenny. And thank you, Galina, Mila. Appreciate the question, Deep. We probably have time for one more question.
Joshua has a question here. I just muted him. So.
Okay, Josh.
Yeah, I got a question. So I'm an upcoming graduate for this upcoming spring. And I am Canadian as well. So it's good to see a lot more Canadians here. But I do go to school in the US campus. So the kind of the dilemma that I've been having, and I think many of the Canadians are in the same situation as me, I got my sports team as well. What is more effective to network into kind of the market here in the US, even though there might be like international obstacles that we have to overcome? Because I know like the hiring process might be different. I'm actually not too sure how the hiring process is if we would like to get a job here. Or is it better to take our degree and network back at home in Canada? So that's kind of my question, if it's confusing or not.
So I'm gonna try to answer your question, Joshua. Nice to see you, by the way. I would suggest doing both, because you never know where the opportunity will come up. Don't limit yourself geographically. I'm a Canadian, I work for a US university, and this is my dream job. I've been waiting for it for a long time, and it came up on the different side of the border. Don't look for geographical location, look for the job that will meet all of your needs. So if something comes up and you test the waters and you think, okay, well, it might be difficult for me to get there geographically. It's difficult for everyone to get there geographically right now. So we're all in the same shoes. Look for the job, not for the territory. Ladies, any more suggestion?
Yeah, I think it's a very important point. So now, basically, if you can do your job remotely, it doesn't matter where you are at. And I ask this question to recruiters like, hey, how are you dealing with the enormous amount of people who are applying from basically across the country because they don't need to play this card. Oh, you have to be in Edmonton, in New York. Like, if you can do it, if you have internet connection, do it. So yeah, I totally agree with Galina. Don't limit yourself in your networking efforts, and see, because once you're doing the research, you will get more information. So you will analyze it and you will make an informed decision.
Anybody else before we close? One more. This is great. Thank you very much, Josh, for that question.
Sure, Anna Maria, let me unmute you.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, sorry for not turning on my camera, but I'm a little bit sick today, so it's better for all of you that you don't see me. But thank you so much for your presentation. I am Anna Maria, and I'm from Hungary, and I assist with Whitney, the MBA office. I'm also responsible for the graduate business operations, and originally I came here for my MBA program, and I'm still sticking around with my OPT. And I'm interested in your responses about how did you overcome of the challenges of coming from a different country to North America and how did you overcome of all the struggles that you might have found on your way through your success?
I don't think I qualify to answer this question because I came here at 15. So I didn't overcome much. My parents did it for me, but I was very persistent in my education. Mila and Jenny, I think you're better examples.
Well, I will take over now a little bit. So yeah, I agree with you. You look at yourself and you say, and you're saying, not a person of color, but person of accent. At the end of the day, it still will be at the back of your head. And at the end of the day, look at the mirror and be proud of your accent. You represent the diversity of this country, cultural diversity. This country is all about cultural diversity. Be part of it. Don't fight against it. And at the end of the day, allow yourself to be who you are. It was a long journey from being a Ukrainian girl, Eugenia, to become Canadian girl, Jenny, with Ukrainian descent. But I'll tell you, I'm proud of who I am, and be proud of who you are. So my all heart goes to you. If I could give you a virtual hug, I will. And believe me, at the end of the day, it always will be there, but be proud of it. Make sure that it's not your fear, but it is your strength. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I could use that hug now for sure.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I came to Canada, I was 24 years old. I thought like I had a lot of self-doubting thoughts. And of course, like the only negative thought that I had back then, like, oh my God, I have an accent, what have I done? And my only response to you is to build on your strength, because always remember what you have accomplished already. Yeah, I agree with Jenny. So be proud of yourself. Like, I mean, you will always have an accent probably, but treat it this way. And this is what I tell my clients who are not English speakers. This is a good way to prevent dementia and Alzheimer's. So because it helps with developing more neuron connections if you speak more than one language.
Oh, indeed. Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Well, on that note, I think we will close for the evening. I want to thank everybody again for their time, their engagement, especially to our speakers for preparing such a lovely, inspiring close to our workday. We look forward to seeing you all back again. Our next guide talk will be on the 16th of December. Yes, we will still be holding a guide talk in the month of December. That's Wednesday night. Same time, 5:30. We will be hearing at that point from some alum of the Niagara University and also participants in what is called Leadership Niagara, which is a program that introduces business leaders in the Niagara County region to the challenges of the county, whether it be in business, whether it be in travel tourism, it may be in social services, all different aspects of our business community and how that informs future decisions and leadership for the county. So we would love to shine the spotlight on Niagara Falls and help acquaint the audience here to some of those challenges and ways that you as future leaders can be impactful. So we look forward to seeing you. And in the meantime, we wish you all the best, safe travels for those of you who are going home or have gotten home. Please be safe, and thank you again. And we'll connect again soon. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.